everyone everywhere has secrets. Did you know that everyone has special powers and they've kept it a secret from me my entire life? But I won't stand for that. That's why I made a helmet. I call it Machine That Lets Me Read People's Minds When I Want To, or PsychoPomp for short. But something happened when I put it on. It didn't let me read people's minds, but it did let me see something else. A world that was hidden from me, that everyone knew about. A world hidden in plain sight, with all sorts of animals and creatures and dead bodies. There are catacombs hidden under every public government building.
I will not allow any more secrets to be kept from me. Welcome back to PsychoPomp, a game made by Carbonic under Fading Club that has become one of my personal favorites. Just a disclaimer before I start the video, PsychoPomp Gold is the continuation or full remake of PsychoPomp. This new release is not just a new skin, there are tons and tons of new content for me to cover, so this video will only be covering the new content in PsychoPomp Gold with a brief overview of the previous. If you have not already gone and watched the previous PsychoPomp video I made or played the game yourself, please do so before watching this because otherwise it will not make sense. Anyway, for those who have already experienced the original story of PsychoPomp, it is time to delve into the treasure that is PsychoPomp Gold. We're greeted with a familiar menu screen, but now with a shiny gold. When starting the game, we see the same three locations, but now home and call. Clicking call, I first get the gameplay and real-world tip. All the tips seem to be the same from the last game, including the Queen of Dragonflies is sleeping and smiling. Now loading into what was called call, we can see a phone. There are 4 digits you can type in to get a unique voice line that has to do with the lore. I was able to figure out 6 different codes in my gameplay, but I'm not sure if there's more. I'll be showing all 4 secret codes and voice lines I found later in the video. When going to the home section, we find ourselves in a 2D kind of pixel art style room with a locked door we will talk about later. For now, we have to start the game like usual by going to sewer treatment. The overall quality of this game looks better, however, on our way into the sewage treatment plant, obviously nothing has changed, except the layout of the area, which feels slightly different for some levels. Going to talk to the inhabitants, they have the same voice line as the first game for the first 3 areas, and besides the Threat women being higher quality, there's not too much different about the start of the game. In the interest of only covering all the new content in PsychoPomp Gold, I will only be reading new dialogue, such as the symbolic man I found in this new hidden room. He says, "You might think that you're in pain, but I've been here a lot longer than you. Eventually, it'll all become quiet, and all return to symbols." The other hidden rooms seem to be the same as well, like the Dragonfly Church, except for this last one. Inside, we find a key. This will be important to use later. Continuing to progress, we follow the Queen's orders, solve the puzzle, and pull her guillotine. Heading back to her chamber, we find our beloved Egg of the Earth. With 1 egg down, we're taken back to the area menu. All the transient locations are still the same for this area. So for now, I'm going to show you what that key does in home. Because we found the key in sewer treatment, we can now open this up and go inside. Here we find a dreary landscape, and within it, inhabitants with which we've never seen. I am so damn tired of this. Look around you. Look how gray it all is. Everything is turned into day soup, and it's all your fault. You hate me, don't you? Stop making the world gray. Stop doing this to me.
Cerebrospinal fluid at 80%. Musculoskeletal system reacting poorly. Please be advised. Open lung sore detected. Head like a DOA. PsychoPomp efficiency currently at 0%. For more diagnostics, please subscribe to a Platinum membership.
With another locked door in front of us, we're forced to leave for now. We continue by going to the second location, the Children's Hospital. All the dialogue and characters here remain the same, unfortunately including Plato. However, when going underneath Alexander, there is now a secret wall to the side of him. When going inside the secret room, we're first jump scared by this guy, which scared the crap out of me. Finally, at the end of the hall, we see this area's key and claim it. As we continue to progress normally, we find the paper that tells us Vena's name, say hi to the tick, listen to the wall that gives us the fun poem, and finally kill Cleopatra and Plato, leading us back to the top to get another egg. With another key now in our hands, we head to home in order to access the next area. Here we find some strange, almost primitive and wild drawings scribbled on the walls. We're now met with another locked door, which we'll come back to. But first, of course, we have to find the key in the factory. Also, please ignore the black square in the top right. It was an accident recording and it's gonna go away really soon. Continuing down the hall, we actually see pictures of Vena and she is wanted, it seems. Besides that, we just progress normally, turning off the safeguards for the head crushing machine until we run into this new enemy. After defeating it, we find this room with a strange device. The medallion man says, "This is the station that controls the pressure of the head crusher machine. Feel free to mess around with it. It's not like we're ever going to use it." Fun fact, it takes a minimum of 500 PSI to crush a skull. I of course interpreted this as, set it to as much as possible, just to see what happens. To the left of this device is actually a hallway that leads to the key we needed. With this key and as many child egg slicers as we can fit in our pocket, it's time to show the head of the factory what 999 PSI looks like. With that out of the way, it's time to claim another egg. With our key from the factory, we unlock the next area in home. Hello there, I'm Libido. Everything that is wonderful. These things that make you so happy and make your toes curl. Those come from me, dear. You don't have to thank me. Everything I do is for my own sake. Thank you very much. Ignoring that disturbing creature, we find another locked door, and we'll come back. Heading back to the main menu screen, we expect to see one of the final areas, but instead there's a button that says Descend. This is where PsychoPomp Gold introduces completely new areas. I was already impressed with the improvements to the original parts of the game, but now the game has even more unexplored content. With nowhere else to go, we go to number 4, Hard Structure. Hard structures are all around us. What is a building? What forms the dirt beneath our feet? How does it think? How does it respirate? What does a hard structure eat? Earth is created of buildings that we make. An elevator is like a throat for a hard structure. We enter this new area, and it seems to be covered with industrial buildings and blood. Moving forward, we meet our first inhabitant called a building bed. They say, "What a shame. Our young buildings are afflicted with a bad case of parasitic silkworms. Even if we kill all of them, it'll take months for the open sores to heal." Heading up the stairs, we find another bed bug next to a giant sphincter. They say, "Well, isn't this great? That's the main root sphincter. Isn't it a beaut? Problem is, with all these moths around, it's closed up tight, so we can't go and check up on the roots of these buildings until they're gone. What a pain. We aren't able to interact with the sphincter either. Looks like we're going to have to go kill some moths. Heading up the stairs, we find whatever this is, and right next to it, the key that we need, blocked by silk. Aw, his first graffiti. Graffiti is how buildings speak to us people. Looks like someone's hungry. While exploring this area, we find many moth eggs which we have to destroy in order to get that key. Of course, we will never live to see our buildings flourish, but we know that. It's a thankless job, but an important one. Further up, we find a creature here called a piss lipid. It says, oh boy, do you think I can be your good boy? Can I be your little good boy? No, you cannot. Finally, at the top of the building, we find this mixer, which we'll use later. Exploring further, this building bed says, sometimes I dream what it would be like to be a building. God, wouldn't that be wonderful? To feel all those people inside of me? Around the corner, we also find this terrifying new enemy. We traverse through the maze of buildings until finally at the end of this corridor, we find DDT, a poisonous crystal chemical. Atop another building roof is this building bed. It says, every single surface in a building is lined with a thin series of microscopic taste buds. I think you owe them a taste with all they've done for you. Further on, we find a new inhabitant called a basal man. He says, I never had a backbone in life. Now I'm so much better. I am the backbone, the underlying structure. Down the hall, we find another ingredient, sulfur, as well as another basal man who says, pheromones are incredibly important to a building's life cycle. When it's time to reproduce and die, a building will produce special pheromones, black mold, to repel its current hosts and promote habitation of its children. After speaking with everyone, we find the last ingredient that we needed, bromine, a noxious cleaner. Before going to the roof, however, I made sure to destroy all the moth eggs on the map so I could claim the key. Now on the roof, we throw all of our ingredients into the mixer. With the moths gone, the sphincter is now able to properly function, and we go inside. This is the Great Taproot. All buildings owe to it. Every building you have ever seen is a genetic clone of this taproot. Please be careful around it. It's very sensitive. What have you done? Now back in the menu, with only instructions left to go, we go back to home to see what our key does. There's a face inside you that isn't yours. You've gotten twisted up and covered in garbage by that face. I'm suffocating here because of all this trash. It just keeps piling up. There's a moist towelette that makes you feel clean in the other room. Go clean yourself up. Make yourself pretty. At the end of this hall, we find another locked door. Time to get another key. The last place we have to go is instructions. Huh? What kind of place is this? What do these buildings do? Why, is this place... Elevator. This new area seems to be some sort of dystopian workplace. The first inhabitant we see is a clay allel, which says, "Here's where we make instructions for everything. Everything that has happened to you, everything that you have ever done, it was all decided here." Moving down the center path, we see some sort of worm-like thing and a syringe. The clay allel next to it says, "Oh goddammit, these sentient teratomas clog up the pipes every once in a while. It really makes things annoying to get around. Hey, grab this syringe and get a sample of its DNA. Then we might be able to do something about this." We proceed to do so and fill the syringe with valuable DNA that we'll use later. Looking at the signs and exploring further, we find another clay allel. It says, "DNA is the greatest curse we have ever thought up. You should have seen the people before DNA. Let me tell you, we could not let that last." Down this path, we find this horrifying creature called Origin Point. It says, "I am the origin point who decides how you will decay. I've got a collection of wonderfully flawed chromosomes that I've put together for you. I've put a lot of thought into this. The least you could do is be grateful. You can't blame me. I'm only working with the instructions I received." Up the stairs next to the origin point is this device which we unlock. This will be important for our machine later. We're soon attacked by whatever the hell this thing is before meeting another clay allel. It says, "With so much time passing, it can be really hard to remember the diseases and things we've created. So we keep it all here, in case we forget. This place is clearly some sort of factory where they create the DNA and flaws that make up creatures." We find this note that tells us how to corrupt DNA and how to prevent it. Once again, we'll use this later. Trudging onward, we find whatever this is. It's very interesting though. We eventually come across this machine which tells us to insert our DNA sample. And when doing so, we are given the DNA of that creature. Funnily enough, Vena seems to write this down and put it on a fish hook inside the PsychoPomp with a little face. After fighting some more creatures, we finally make it to another safeguard, which we unlock. We then find this clay allel, which says, "It ain't easy coming up with new instructions every day. We gotta stay creative for what's gonna happen to everyone, and that's a lot of work. I'm not complaining though. That's the job we were given, the job that we were born to do." Next to that is another origin point. This one says, "I am the origin who decides how you will suffer. Would you like a blood clot disorder? A brain that doesn't work? It's up to me to decide that, and it's an important job. Thank you very much. If you can think of a better system, I'd like to see you try." By him is a small secret path, which leads us to another key. Not far from that, we find the last safeguard and unlock it. Now going back down the center path, we find the machine that will hopefully get rid of this creature. To do this, we have to mutate its DNA the wrong way using all the knowledge we've gotten from this area. What did you do? You injected something into the primordial information, didn't you? It's all dying. It's all spreading and dying. There's no more DNA. There's no more instructions. Oh God, what do we do? With another key in our possession, we continue farther into home. I looked at the wall today and felt like it was made of dirt. I could trace all of the patterns which crawled up the side of the drywall. It was only for a split second, but I wish I never saw that. With another eye blocking our way, looks like we need one more key. With nowhere left to go, it's time to descend. Unless there is somewhere else to go. Just like transient locations above, there are now ephemeral locations, and these are pretty interesting. So we're going to take a look at them before descending. Location 1, Natural History Museum.
The first sentient species on our planet were humans. These hairy bipeds were highly intelligent and are thought to have used tools. They were highly emotive, making them very fun. The last human died in captivity years ago, and none have been seen since. After the humans went extinct, the Thraits evolved. These creatures lived in small societies and did nothing of note. They were strong and stoic, which proved very annoying. The last Thrait died in captivity years ago, and we are better for it. After the Thraits went extinct, the humans evolved.
Location 2, Human Seedbed.
Made, real learning, real made, real learning, real made, real learning, real made, real.
The human is just starting to learn world order. It'll be a while before it's sent to the surface.
Day open score total eat food what open tell score work day 7-2 overhill child scream baby telling music. Caricature, 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 caricature. Mom, I'm hurt. Mom, I'm hurt. Help me. I need help me. I need help me. I need. Why would you do that? You're making me mad. You're a good friend. Would you like to eat food?
Fingers looking for hammers. Perfecting imitation. Location 3, Hollow Nursery. My everlasting queen, where have you gone? Even now the hollow constructs stir from their slumber, ready to act on your will. So I know you must be with us. I am resolute, but how much longer must we wait? Location 4, Rust Mother Artificial Cave. Rust like milk, rust like a lifeblood. Rust is the most you can really make in the world. After a while, even brains become rust, don't you think? Remember, rust is a currency. Having rust in every vein, every duct, let me tell you, it takes some getting used to. But after a while, you wouldn't have it any other way. Ah, hello dear. It's a tough job we've got. Ever seen a rusty shovel? How about a rotten metal boat? That's our duty. We birth the rust that eats away at every bit of metal on the planet. It's an important position. The Rust Mother is doing her duties diligently still, whirring and clanking on the inside as she flows a mixture of oxides and carbon through her veins and into the greater world. The Rust Mother is cold and made of a sort of polymer. However, you get the feeling she is organic on the inside, in the way that counts. With no more ephemeral locations to explore, we descend. Here we find one more area, symbols. We are not convinced of you. You do not seem to understand anything. These doors will only open for you once you've come to an understanding with this world and what makes it. The symbol person moves and dances as if they are older than writing. I am the paragon of the people. People are where it all comes together. Every layer builds upon layers and becomes a single person. These layers can now look back on former layers and comprehend them. People are the most important aspect. They form from the others. The paragon is something that cannot be destroyed with a thought, but can be destroyed with a hammer. You finally understand people. After killing the paragon, we gain this, a paragon key. It's not actually a key, but an important component of life. In order to understand more about the world, we continue. Here we meet a Sila Sila. It says, "Tutor, tutor, tutor. There's a planet within one other place. When realms come together and are forced into a round shape, we will enter into a later phase of a world." Here we find some sort of art gallery with some very disturbing images. A nearby symbol person says, "Art is beautiful, isn't it? You'll gain an appreciation when you're old enough. We are formed of art. Art is formed of us. Can you think of anything higher?" Another nearby symbol person tells us, "This is your worst part. In that deep part behind your pituitary gland, that part where you try to hide, that part that crushes your chest and seizes your lungs, we have commodified and gallerized it for special viewing of the general public. Welcome to hell." Upstairs we find another. It says, "We are living symbols. We were born of one of the four aspects, the deepest aspect. This makes us the guardians of this world. We will decide what goes through and what comes to pass. It is our right." This one in the corner explains to us, "The matter is created of four aspects made from the original two thinkers. With these four aspects, they harness their raw energy, violence, into the world." Following a path up the stairs of the museum, we finally find the last key. Returning back to the main path, we're suddenly attacked by these new enemies that try to attack you with these light circles. After defeating them, we find this inhabitant gut mom, which says, "The seasons go round and round, but what gives birth to them? The trees climb to the sky, but what gives birds to them?" I'm the paragon of symbols. I feel the geometry of the world and the mathematical crash that appears behind me. Colors and shapes, lines and curves, the digital meat stuff that makes you up. Read it and weep. Kill me to learn. You finally understand symbols. Continuing, we find another gut mom. It says, "There was a time when the paragons floated gently over the sulfur plains. A time before humans. A time before Thraits." Before continuing down the hall, we're met with this symbol person who says, "A usurper here in the oldest part of the kingdom? Ha! What a joke. You could never weave a story like that. You could never create something like this. A true monarch would never be ugly like you." Past them, we have to overcome this trap with electricity as well as being jump scared by this creature, until finally we arrive at another paragon. I am the paragon of concepts. Concepts give birth to symbols. Symbols give birth to concepts. Without each other, they're worthless. You are a collection of flesh concepts. You finally understand concepts. On our way to the final Paragon, we have to fight this creature, which has a built-in flamethrower. After defeating it, we arrive. I am the Paragon of the Flesh. I used to fly over the lands, invigorating the muscles and sinew of all the world. Do you know the meaning of the flesh? The meat is our souls given anchor. You finally understand flesh. With all the understanding of this world and what makes it, we use our knowledge to open the door and prove ourselves. Inside, we find none other than the last egg of the earth. Back at the menu, we find only one option: entrance. But first, we're going to go back to home and see what the final key does. Hey, give it back. What? Is it some sort of metal stick? A nail? Huh? It's my nail. I need it, so give it. A nail? What can you do with a nail? I like hammers better. It's better than a hammer. I can build stuff with it. Now give it back. You're funny. What's your name? Not gonna tell you. Bleh. Tell me, or I'm not gonna give it back. Mercury. That's a funny name. Here, catch. I'm Venus. Let's be friends. Aw, don't make that face. I'm sorry. Say, you got a funny face. You're mean. Come on, let's be friends. I'll show you a secret. Secret? How to catch dragonflies. They're the coolest bug ever. Beetles are cooler. Beetles? Lame. No way they're cooler. Haha, Mercury likes beetles. A beetle could beat your little dainty dragonflies any day. Yeah, right. Show me then. Bring it on. Taken back to the main menu, we now see Aberrant Locations. We will explore these before going to the entrance. Location 1. Nature. The Avatar of Nature says,
blood, food, hungry, eat, need, run, fell, cut, open, worm, fell, want, grab, kill, find, use, penetrate, tease, sharp, touch, smell, taste, hair, rough, wet, cold, rip, look, hide, run, scream, tear.
You were already touching the symbol. The symbol calls to something inside you that you have felt before you were even born. Location 2. Special shower. Location 3. Spiral. Hand of a father. Hand of a mother. Heart of a child. Mind of a demon. Location 4. Ancient future place. With no other extra locations, we go inside entrance. I'm falling. I feel like it's been coming for a while, but it never does. Deeper into the earth, deeper into the dirt and rock and veins and sinew. Real world tip. There is a Mariana Trench under every town. Behold, the throne of the queen, and upon it, the sacred dermis which she shed when entering her great metamorphosis. Step lightly, this is a hallowed place. Center of the earth. This is it, the life meat of the world. I see it, and I somehow know exactly what to do. Finger movements and speaking, words I know but have never heard. A warmth, a love, I will make you anew, born to flesh from ash and clay. There you are, my wonderful child. This world has been changed. It has been twisted into something it is not. It will change more. Perhaps that's inevitable. Let us awaken your siblings. There are no secrets now. I see everything within my domain. Thank you, dear helmet. You are perfect in every way, baby. I'm feeling pretty good. Let's leave this hole and never look back. With the main ending finished, we go to Forbidden Location. Just like before, it leads us to the Forbidden Library, where we find the note about the Caldman Four and end up catching their attention. Upon leaving, the eye has turned blue and is now labeled Exit. Connection to subject lost. Tracking alternative subject. Alternative subject found. Time to wake up. We find ourselves in the ending of the last game as the King of Mercury. However, now we can use a nail. We now, of course, go down to speak with the dog. Ah, how nice to meet you. I do say, my good sir, your face seems to have broken and become abstracted. No matter, it happens to the best of us. We have more important things at hand. I am the king of all dogs, and I bring you a very important warning. Look to the skies. Do you not feel it? When you set your eyes upon the bloody earth above, do you not see it? Something terrible has awoken. Soon it will descend upon the landscape and bring out utmost destruction. I must beseech you, you must put an end to it. Only you have the power to do so. I know a business-minded individual like yourself will have no problem figuring this out. We must make haste. I have some associates that I will introduce you to right away. Come along now. There's no time to lose. Okay, things just got real. It seems we have more gameplay with the King of Mercury. Gameplay tip. Be sure to watch your health. We don't have time for mistakes. Real world tip. You will never get ahead in life if you doubt yourself for even one moment. I apologize for this arbitrary holdup. I spoke to my compatriots earlier and told them that we would be meeting at this exact time, but they aren't here. Would you go look for them? Once you find them all, we can continue to our place of meeting. Exploring the desert-like area, most likely the planet Mercury, we even get to use our nail a little on some enemies. At the end of this path, we find this character called Mother. She says, "Oh, hello, I've been expecting you. Tell me, do you prefer pythons or constrictors? There are many kinds of snakes, each more wonderful than the last. Am I needed? I will head there now." On our way to find the rest of the dog's companions, we find these creatures called Aberrant Scouts. This one says, "Ah, I know you. You're that human we saw at the hotel. What are you doing all the way out here? This place isn't safe for someone like you." The one next to it says, "Be careful, a storm is brewing. I can feel it in my carapace. There's a great evil hanging over the land. Theo va, may the king watch over you." Past both of them, we find this character called Father. He says, "A flower is a very special thing. Its beauty is captivating, and yet it brings the stench of death, a deadly poison. What kind of flower can I give to you, sir?" "Ah, the dog wants me? I'll be there." Finally, we meet the last person in this area, Child. They say, "Everyone loves puppets, especially puppets themselves. Oh good, it's you. I was getting so bored here. I'll meet you there. By the way, what do you think about puppets?" Heading back to the meeting place, we find the door open and head inside. Having now officially beaten PsychoPomp Gold, third-person mode is unlocked. Now, third-person mode seems like it's very interesting and could probably be used to uncover some more secrets, but I couldn't find any in this video. This remake was really well put together with a lot of new content, and I'm definitely going to have to play it some more to find some more stuff. However, I'm not quite done with the video yet, as there's one more thing I want to cover, and that would be the menu's call section. Here you can type in any 4-digit code to try and get a response. I found about 6, technically 7 of them that actually worked. Each code is actually a word that has significance to the game, and I'll list them in the order I found them.
Hello, you've reached the Arroyo Inn. I'm very sorry, but there are no vacant rooms at the moment. If you're calling for a guest, he's currently number, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks. Bye.
I'm just getting so overwhelmed by the smell. It's in me, it's in my skin and in my teeth. It covers my eyes, too. Man's best friend, huh? I'm so f***ing tired of these damn bugs. Every which way I go, it's mantises or beetles or other shit. I can't stand them. I can't stand the way they crunch, the way they smell, the sounds they make, and these damn worlds they create. But don't worry, we won't be dealing with bugs for very long.
Hey everybody, let's have fun today. What kind of fun do I have in mind? I've got a game to play. What kind of game is it? Well, let's say it's a game of tricks. It's a game of traps and twists and turns. But I think you're really gonna enjoy it. And I think we're all gonna get along just fine.
You know, I had a dream the other night. I was running through a big open field. And I just felt like I could keep running forever. And I could end up anywhere I wanted to go. It was like the dream had its fingers in the here and now, but that it was dipping its toes into some other water. Just a dream, I guess.
It should come as no surprise that worms would get jealous. Left in the dirt, left to rot. In the mire beneath the darkness of the world, the worms might wonder, and the worms might try.
I thought this was a really cool feature they added, and finding different words that had to do with the story was really fun. Either way, that is all of the new content for PsychoPomp Gold. I really enjoyed this game. Once again, shout out to Carbonic. This game is a masterpiece, and when I saw you tease PsychoPomp 2 and I thought I was actually about to play it, I physically soy-faced. I was so excited, and I can't wait to actually play it. My current theory on the game is that either the Caldman 4 are on the side of both Vena and Mercury, or they're against Vena and on just the side of Mercury. On top of that, there seems to be a deep friendship between Mercury and Vena, so I'd assume that they are to work together, not against each other. So it's possible the Caldman 4 are deceiving the king, maybe trying to use him as their puppet, while Vena has escaped from their hands and is possibly going to have to save the king in PsychoPomp 2. Either way, I'm very excited to see what happens when they finally reunite. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a like, because this takes a lot of work for me to make these kind of videos. I've already made a few before, and I plan on making more. I really appreciate the support I've gotten, especially with the original PsychoPomp video, and I plan on making more awesome psychological horror reviews soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.